Yeah, I'll be continuing with this chemical properties of alkene. 4 properties we have already finished. The first one, if you can recall, first was addition of hydrogen. Second was addition of halogen. Third one, we have done addition of hydrogen halide, where you had addition of hydrogen halide being done for symmetrical as well as for unsymmetrical alkene. Okay, and we have seen that in the presence of peroxide, and if you don't add peroxide, the compounds, the products which are formed are different. Okay, so till there I had done, and then yesterday you have seen addition of water, which we did according to Markovnik-Hoffe rule. Okay, now next one we are proceeding with the polymerization reaction. Okay, now what is this polymerization reaction is? First we will understand what are polymers. Okay, see, polymers, as the name says, poly, this word you might have come across in the maths, correct? No, polynomials means if you have many variables attached together, then we call them as polynomials, correct? Now here, polymers means if you have many units combined together. Okay, polymers means if I have many units, okay, many units joined together. Mer stands for unit. These are Greek word. Okay, poly stands for many and mer stands for unit. And if you are taking one unit of any particular reactant, then they are called as monomers. Okay, then they are named as monomers. Okay, so this monomer I will just denote by M. So if many monomers combine together, okay, if many monomers are joined together like this and form a long chain with high molecular weight, then that is what we call as polymers. These are called as polymers. Okay, so monomers is one unit, one single unit. If many units join together, we call them as polymers, and this process of formation of this polymers is what is called as polymerization. Process of formation of this polymer. Okay, so I believe it's clear. Polymerization means what? Okay, so polymers are made up of many small units. Okay, and that small unit, one such unit, is what we call as monomers. Now example I am taking for this, see now here, this is just like your daily life example if you consider. Now usually we have now two hands. If I consider this two hands as a pi bond, okay, I am considering for here because it's for alkene, no? See, if I take now CH2 double bond, CH2. So there is, now see, you can see there are two bonds are present, and you know, these two bonds are nothing but electrons. Okay, so if you break this down, if you break this, okay, one bond I'll break, pi bond I'm breaking because that's more reactive one. So you will get one radical here, one radical here. So you imagine in that way. So one radical you're getting here, like that many molecules will be there. Another CH2 molecule also will be there if I take together. Okay, then this will break down. I will get one radical here, one radical here. Okay, so then these two will join together. Okay, these radicals are there, no, they are highly reactive, they will join together. So then they will start reacting with other one. You know, free radicals are highly reactive. So once they are in the radical form, they will go to the next molecule, they will break them and then start joining them together. So then you will get a long chain like this. Can you see, you can see here this molecule I have taken. Okay, it has a, you can see it has a double bond here. So one you take as pi bond. Okay, so this is a pi bond, you imagine. Okay, so then we are just opening it up and then start linking with the another molecules. Then you will get a long chain. So one single one is called as monomers. So this single one will be monomers. When many join together, you get a big chain that will be called as polymers. Okay, so these are monomers. They are joining together. Okay, that's how polymers are formed. Okay, so if you're talking about polythene, just now I gave you example that polythenes are formed like that. So how will we write now exactly? See, polythene, when they are combining together, if I take CH2 molecule and then CH2 molecule together, many CH2 molecules will be there. Okay, so they will combine together like this, they will break down. These will break down in this fashion. Okay, so I'll set, you will get radicals. See, now I will write that. You don't copy this down. Later I will tell you what to write down. Okay, so you'll get a radical here like this only. Here this CH2 and CH2 will have one radical each. Okay, here also CH2 one radical, then again CH2, one radical. These will start joining with each other. Okay, these radicals are there, no, they will start joining with each other. See, this one and this one will combine together. This and this one will combine together. This will combine with another one. Okay, so like that they form a long chain. But see, now millions of molecules will combine. So you can't write a big chain. You can't keep writing like this, CH2, 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 like this. You will get a big chain. Okay, so what we try to do is we condense and write them. So on the reactant side, you will write CH2 double bond CH2. Okay. So like this, many molecules are there. N molecules are there. So we write N here. N CH2 double bond CH2. Okay. So they are undergoing polymerization. This happens, condition is they take place in the presence of a catalyst. You require a catalyst to speed up the reaction. Plus temperature should be very high. Okay. High temperature and pressure. High temperature and high pressure, this reaction will take place. So they will start joining with each other like this. Okay, so you can see a big chain will be formed, CH2 single bond CH2, like that. Okay, so what we do is we take one unit and we write. Okay, one unit I am taking and writing. So we will write CH2 single bond CH2, and they are having these bonds with other molecules. So we keep that bond as it, like this. Okay, we show it in this fashion. Okay, zigzag lines you draw and say that like it's getting repeated. This side also there is repetition, that side also there is a repetition, this way. Okay, and then these one monomer, like that many are joined together. So we write N over here down, suffix we write. Okay, so here ethene molecules have combined together. So when many ethene molecules combine together, what product you get? That is called as polythene. Okay, so that's how polythene is formed. Okay, so this process of formation of polythene is what we call as polymerization. I believe it's clear. This part you don't have to write. These things you can eliminate. This only for you to explain I wrote. Okay, for you example, important is this. This example is important. Ethene combining together to give polythene. In the plastic bags, the catalyst which it is quite thin in nature. So the catalyst used is different. But if you take these tumblers, bucket and all, that's quite hard and stiff. Okay, so there the catalyst and the conditions which are applied, that is also different. Okay, so catalyst changes. For different type of polythene, what you have to prepare, different catalysts are taken. Okay, one example I said, Ziegler-Natta catalyst. That is widely used, commonly used. Okay, I'll go for next now. Yes. Next chemical property you are having, next reaction, that's oxidation. Okay. So oxidation of alkene, if you are doing in the presence of an oxidizing agent, you remember that hierarchy I told you? Hydrocarbon if you take and oxidize them in the presence of oxidizing agent, if you oxidize them, what will be the product you are going to get? Remember this hierarchy. Hydrocarbon if I take and oxidize them, what is the next level you are going to get here? Immediate one. In the presence of an oxidizing agent. Yes, very good. Correct. Alcohol. Alcohol is the correct answer. Yes. Alcohol, no? Hydrocarbon on oxidation, I told you, will give alcohol. Alcohol, if you further oxidize, what do you get? If I further oxidize this, yes, very good. Correct. Aldehyde. And aldehyde on further oxidation gives you carboxylic acid. Yes. Carboxylic acid. This is the hierarchy which you need to keep in mind. Okay. Like if you oxidize them, hydrocarbon on oxidation gives you alcohol. Alcohol on oxidation gives you aldehyde. And aldehyde on oxidation gives you carboxylic acid. Okay. So now here we are going to do oxidation. That means to alkenes you are going to add oxidizing agent. So the oxidizing agent which we are taking is, it's cold. Okay. We are going to take cold dilute KMNO4 solution. Okay, cold dilute KMNO4 solution. This is the condition in which KMNO4 is taken. Because if you take them in different condition, hot and concentrated, that will give you some other product. Okay, so here we are just concentrating on oxidation of hydrocarbon to alcohol. So if oxidation of alkenes is done, if alkene is oxidized in this condition, okay, cold and then dilute KMnO4, if you're going to take this KMnO4 here, it is serving as an oxidizing agent, okay, it is acting as an oxidizing agent. So it will oxidize the carbon of alkene, okay, because you are having now adjacent two carbon atom which are attached, and this is our reactive site where the reaction will take place. So one OH will be added on this side, one more OH will be added on the other side. So neighboring OH groups will be obtained. Okay, so that's called as vicinal. They are called as vicinal glycols. Okay, it's a common name we used. Vicinal glycol means it's diol itself. Means diol where you are having two OH group, but then they are attached adjacent to each other. Okay, so it's called as vicinal glycol. Okay, so this compound will be obtained. In brief, I have told you what happens during the reaction. When you take alkene, make it to react with this oxidizing agent, that's cold dilute KMnO4, you get vicinal glycol, okay, and alcohol will be produced. So we'll see the reaction now. We are taking KMnO4. See, KMnO4, I said it's an oxidizing agent. Oxidizing agents property is they will oxidize the other compound, means they will give oxygen to other compound, themselves undergo reduction. Okay, means they will lose the oxygen. Means if you are giving to somebody, if you are giving money to somebody, they will gain the money, but you will be losing it. Correct? No? So that is a property of oxidizing agent. They will oxidize the other compound but themselves undergo a reduction. Okay. So KMnO4 dilute I said. So it is in the presence of water. So KMnO4 when made to react with water, it produces KOH plus MnO2 plus few single oxygens are produced. Nascent oxygens are produced. This nascent oxygen, single oxygen, reactive oxygens, they will go and react with this carbon and convert them into alcohol. Okay, so see the reaction how it goes about. If I am taking now ethene, CH2 double bond, ethene gas, if I am passing through this dilute KMnO4 solution. Okay, so in the solution you have water plus this nascent oxygen will come. Okay, so here you can see now 2 hydrogen and 2 oxygen we are having. So one OH comes here, one OH comes over here on the first carbon, and one more OH gets added up here. Okay, mechanism it's not required for you. This much if you remember is enough. So double bond you break, add one OH on this side and one more OH on the other side. You get this compound. Okay, so this is vicinal glycol, commonly called as, now here two carbon are there. Commonly it's vicinal glycol, but two carbon it's called as ethylene glycol. Okay, if you want the IUPAC name, IUPAC name will be 1, 2 carbon. So ethane, full name you have to write. If you remember, if you have two similar group present, then you should write full name of the alkane. Ethane, then 1, 2 di, all is the compound name. Okay, so this is what happens during the oxidation reaction. Okay, now color also changes. It's one reaction to check the unsaturation also. Okay, it's one of the tests which is done in the lab. If you want to check out whether your alkene is double bonded, you can do this reaction. Okay, to check out whether it's alkene or alkene, just by seeing you can't identify. No, so we pass this alkene to this KMnO4 solution. Okay, and then the color changes. See what color change will happen. KMnO4, if you are familiar, this is the color. Okay, it's purple pink in color. This is the color of KMnO4. Okay, it has a nice purple pink color. Now, when you pass a alkene to this, see the color change, what happens. Here we have KMnO4, and if you are passing any alkene to that, the color turns out to be brown. Okay, it will give you a brown precipitate. So that indicates that this double bond has broken down and got converted to alcohol. Here, okay, this alkene's double bond has broken down and KMnO4 has finally oxidize these and they have reduced to MnO2, and this MnO2 is brown in color. Okay, MnO2 is brown in color. So that's the reason why the color changes like that. Okay, so you get from KMnO4 purple pink to brown color, indicating that double bond is present. Okay, now you can write down, students. oxidation reaction. Alkene, when you are making it to react with cool dilute aqueous solution of KMnO4, potassium permanganate, it's also called as Bayer's reagent. The reagent name, it's called as Bayer's reagent. Okay. It produces vicinal glycol. Equation, I'll put it here. CH2 double bond CH2 when made to react with the KMnO4, but from there dilute KMnO4, these things will be reacting. Okay, from dilute KMnO4 you get nascent oxygen. Oxygen will be provided by them in the presence of dilute KMnO4. Okay, they are providing this oxygen. So in the presence of water, one OH I said goes here, one OH comes and gets attached over here. You break this double bond, you will break down. So you will write CH2, single bond OH, then again single bond CH2 and OH. Okay. So ethene gets converted to ethane 1, 2 diol. Two carbons are there, so ethane. Okay, first position and second position. First position and second position, I have OH group. Functional group is here. So 1, 2 diol. If you want that KMnO4 reaction, I'll put it down. KMnO4 in the presence of water gives you this compound, that is KOH plus MnO2 and produces nascent oxygen. This is not required for you. In the exam, you need not write. It's only for your understanding I have given. Okay. KMnO color, it's pink in color. Pink color changes to brown because of formation of MnO2. This is pink in color. Okay. It changes to brown color because of formation of MnO2. And this is one more test to check the unsaturation. So down only you can write it is used as a test. It is used as a test for unsaturation. Used as a test for unsaturation. We have written that O because it's a reactive, nascent oxygen, okay, single oxygen. It is not stable one. It's not in the O2 form. O2 is a stable compound. No, this is actually the free radical of oxygen. So we write in them in the bracket, indicating that it's a reactive one. Okay, it's free radical oxygen, highly reactive ones, which are produced by KMnO4. Okay, your doubt is now using this solution, how do we find out if the solution is unsaturated? No, see, if you are having a double bond, only then they will show a reaction. If you have ethene or even ethyne, all those compounds are there, no, which is having a double bond or a triple bond, only then this will break down and give you this alcohol. Suppose if it is saturated compound, it will not form these compound. Okay, ethane 1, 2 diol will not be formed. So if that is not formed, this brown color precipitate will not be formed. It will not react only. Actually, the mechanism is not like this. For you to make it easy, we just show you like this. Otherwise, this MnO4's oxygen reacts with this double bond. And that's how the mechanism proceeds. Okay. So if only double bond or triple bond is present, only then they will be able to link there. If there is no reactive site, the reaction does not take place. Okay. So if the color changes, that means it is either alkene or alkyne. Then respect to that alkenes and alkynes reaction, we should proceed further to find out which it is. If there is no unsaturation, color change will not happen. It will be pink in color itself. Yes. Okay, good that you are asking. Yes. Yeah, we'll continue then. Okay, next one. The last reaction actually of alkene, that's ozonolysis. Okay. So ozonolysis is where you are making it to react with ozone. Here these compounds are made to react with ozone actually. So alkenes is passed through, these alkenes are there, no? These alkenes are passed through ozone in the presence of one particular solvent. Okay, one inert solvent you should take. Alkenes are made to react with ozone, okay, in the presence of a solvent. And these finally, see, it's a ozone, it's one more type of, okay, it's one more allotrope actually of oxygen itself, correct, no? So they will also undergo, they will also like allow the compound to undergo oxidation. So they will oxidize them. So these alkenes will get oxidized and it will form ozonide. Okay, the compound which is formed is ozonide. Yeah, what I was telling here, see, what I was telling is when ozone is a gas actually. Ozone is made to pass through these alkene in the presence of one of the solvent. Okay, any inert solvent you can take, they end up giving you ozonoid. Okay, that alkene will get oxidized and give you ozonoid. And this ozonoid is quite unstable. They are quite unstable in nature. So this is further and like unstable means they will act like an explosive. So these are further made to react with the water. Okay, further the reaction is done with water and zinc dust. Means zinc powders are added. So these will react and give you a stable compound. Okay, so finally what product you will be getting is either you will get aldehyde, alone one aldehyde. That depends on the alkenes what you are taking. Either you will get only aldehyde or you will get only ketones as the product, or you will get mixture of both. Okay, you will get mixture of both. That is aldehyde as well as ketone will be formed. So that depends on the alkene what you are taking. This aldehyde, ketones or mixture of both will depend what alkene you are going to take and where the breakage happens. Okay. If it's like symmetrical alkene, if your alkene is symmetrical, then it will give you either aldehyde or it will give you either ketone. If your alkene is unsymmetrical, then you may end up getting mixture of both. Okay. So I said it depends on what type of alkene you are taking. Okay. So this is what happens during the ozonolysis process. So ozone will help you to break the carbon-carbon double bond will be broken down. So it's called as ozonolysis. Lysis means breaking. Okay. Lysis meaning is actually breaking. So here breaking of the double bond of alkene happens in the presence of ozone. So it is called as ozonolysis. Okay. Ozone is helping you to break the carbon-carbon double bond. Okay. Electrolysis you might have heard. No, electrolysis means what? You are passing electrolysis to break the bond. Okay. So that's called as electrolysis. And if you are using ozone here to break the bond, then it is called as ozonolysis. Okay. Due to their highly reactive nature, these compounds are formed. Okay. This is again one more way of like finding out the number of unsaturation and the carbon which are present in alkene. It was used before to find out like that. Okay, using ozonolysis process. Now we'll see the reaction. I will directly go for reaction. See, I'm taking now here alkene. I will take the simple alkene, that's ethene. Okay, I'm taking ethene. CH2 double bond CH2. You see how the reaction goes? Made to react with ozone. Okay, I told you it forms ozonoid first. And how is that ozonoid formed is, what you have to do here, you have to break this double bond, okay, and utilize this 3 oxygen. That's how the ozonoid is being formed. Okay, so it will be like helping to break this double bond you break down and add 3 oxygen across them. Okay, so I'm going to break that and add 3 oxygens are there in ozone. So see how the reaction will be. This is C and then H2 I'm keeping here. This CH2 also I'm keeping here. So during the reaction, some rearrangement happens. This ozone will get added up first initially, then some rearrangement takes place. Finally, this oxygen comes in this position. See, this is how it will be. One oxygen comes over here and remaining two oxygen will be down. Okay, it forms a cyclic compound. This cyclic compound will be formed. Okay, this is what we call as ozonoid. Okay, this is called as ozonoid. If you are taking ethene here, then the ozonoid formed is called as ethene ozonoid. Okay, this is ethene ozonoid. Further, I said this is unstable, so they make it to react with water and zinc. Okay, so during the process, there is breakage now. Breakage of this bond will take place. See now here, this is the place where the breakage happens here. Okay, this bond, again rearrangement and shifting happens and they break down like this. Okay, so after breaking down, no, I'm shifting this bond. See here, this bond I'm shifting here. Okay, this bond I'm shifting here because double bonded compounds will be formed. So this you shift here and this bond you shift on this side. Okay, and break them down. This will go as single oxygen. That will combine with the water. It will combine with water, giving you H2O2. This H2O will combine with one more oxygen and they go out as H2O2. Okay. And remaining compound you see here, this I said you shift here. So you will get CH2, CH2 and then double bond oxygen plus the other side you see there is CH2 then double bond oxygen, CH2 then double bond oxygen. That's for carbon. Okay, this double bond will be there on the carbon. You can write it like that only. You can write like this, CH2 double bond oxygen. Okay, it's aldehyde. If you have to see the open structure, it will be like this, C double bond. Okay, one side hydrogen, other side hydrogen. Again, this also is same, no? C double bond oxygen and the other side hydrogen. Okay, so this compound is aldehyde and that's a formaldehyde. One carbon commonly called as formaldehyde, or you can call them as methanol. That's the IUPAC name, methanol. Two molecules of methanol is formed because the alkene what we have taken as symmetrical. Okay, so this is how the reaction proceeds. Now function of the zinc. I have added zinc here. See, water is actually taking this oxygen and going out in the form of H2O2. H2O2 is hydrogen peroxide. Okay, this is hydrogen peroxide. Now, if you take this hydrogen peroxide, then this is also a very good oxidizing agent. If this oxidizing agent is again made to react with this aldehyde, you think what will happen? What it will give you? If this hydrogen peroxide is allowed to sit there like that with this aldehyde, what do you think will happen? What product we are going to get now? Finally, these two will react with each other. And I told you this is an oxidizing agent. Hydrogen peroxide is an oxidizing agent. So can you think and tell me what will happen if I allow them to sit there like this? If hydrogen peroxide is allowed to be there. Yes, very good. Correct. It will oxidize to carboxylic acid. Yes. Okay, so this will further oxidize to carboxylic acid. So to avoid that, what we do is we make them to react with zinc. Okay, so zinc will react with this hydrogen peroxide, giving you zinc oxide plus water. Okay, so during the process, this happens. So you are trying to reduce the reactivity of this hydrogen peroxide by adding this metal. Okay, so then they will be only in the form of aldehyde. You can eliminate them. Later, you can remove them out. Okay. So this is ozonolysis process. You can write this down, students. And if there is any doubt, you can ask me. You can write down the name. It's methanol. Two molecules of methanols are produced. You can write them together also. You can write like this. Two molecules of HC double bond OH. This also can be written. If you know that they are going to give you same compounds at the end. Yes, when ethene ozone, see, when ethene ozonoid is made to react with water, this will break down. No, it will break down here. Okay, this place the breakdown happens, and then they get converted to two molecules of aldehyde. This oxygen remains. No, that oxygen combines with the water, and they go out in the form of hydrogen peroxide. So that hydrogen peroxide, if you don't reduce their reactivity, then they will oxidize this methanol to methanoic acid, carboxylic acid. So we add zinc. Yes, now we'll take another molecule. Propene I'm taking. CH3, CH double bond, CH2. Now with propene, you make the reaction of these ozone and see what are the products which will be formed. I will do this. One more I will give it to you all to do. Okay. So now here, propene we are going to make it to react with ozone. First they will form ozonoid. So to form ozonoid, what we are going to do is add oxygen, okay, across this double bond. Okay, one here and one here. Three are there, no? So you will take CH3, CH, break the bond, okay? Break and add. Break here and then add one oxygen here and then two oxygen on this side and make it to react. Yes, very good. Correct. Yes, Rion, that's the correct answer. And make it to react with water in the presence of zinc. Okay. So then you can break them down here across this. Like this only you break down. Okay. This is the easiest way I can tell you because you don't have to study the mechanism. It's very like complicated. So instead of that, we do this and then we write the product. So you can break this down now. This bond, but remember that you're going to write double bond here. And this bond I'm taking on this side. So your product will be CH3, CH, and then double bond oxygen. So you can write CHO. It's understood, no? It is aldehyde. Plus you can write now here CH2 and then O. That's formaldehyde. Okay, so you have here ethanol. 2 carbon aldehyde is ethanol, 1 carbon aldehyde is methanol. So you get these two as a compound. Okay. Suppose if they give you in the exam directly propene plus ozone, okay, and if they ask you for 1 mark, then you can directly write the product. See what is actually happening if you have observed it correctly. What actually happens is you are breaking this double bond, no? And double bond is equivalent to 1 oxygen because 1 oxygen valency is also 2. So this double bond which is getting broken down, okay, there 1 oxygen comes, here 1 oxygen comes, and here this side the carbon again gets satisfied by 1 more oxygen. So you can directly write CH3CHO, then CH2O. But then this you should know to rearrange and write. It's methanol actually with this molecular formula. So simple way if I have to tell you, this is what is happening. Okay, if you can't remember how to rearrange and write, at least you write this product. For others, I'm telling, the one who can do it properly, you do it like that. But in case if you can't remember anything, actually what is happening in the ozonolysis process is this ozone is coming and breaking this double bond, and across a double bond, 1 oxygen is added. Okay, because double bond is equivalent to 1 oxygen valency. And here also double bond equivalent to 1 oxygen valency. So you get CH3CHO and CH2O. Okay, so propene, this compound is propene ozonoid. Okay, and these two are, that goes out. See, 1 more oxygen is going out with water, no, later in the form of hydrogen peroxide. We eliminate here H2O2. Correct? Yes. Huh. Now one more compound I'll give you. You tell me what is the next one. If you have finished this, you can write down this. I will put one more compound here. This one. You tell me what is the product. Now easily you can tell. See the compound and directly tell me without doing anything. You don't have to break actually. If you have understood now what you have to do, across the double bond, you should break them down, add one oxygen on one carbon, one oxygen on the other carbon, and see what is the compound. What are the two products you are getting here? Yeah, one is propane 2-one and the other one is methanol. Yes, correct. Good. Not propanol. Okay. It's propanone. See here. We are adding across this. No, you are breaking this. Correct. One oxygen here, one oxygen here. So I will write that product here. See, this is how the product will be. CH3 and here CH3. Double bond oxygen will come here on this side. Then the other side you are adding double bond oxygen. So it should be like this. This C will have double bond oxygen. Correct, no? Now you see, this is ketone, no? If a carbon has neighboring to CH3 and CH3, it's ketone. And the number of carbon atom altogether is 3. So it's propanone. Okay, so it's propanone plus this is aldehyde. Because H here, then C double bond O and then H. This is methanol. Okay, so you get methanol plus propanone. If you want to do that ozonoid formation, then this is how you should do it. CH3 here, then here CH3. Okay, if they ask you to explain, you should explain in a correct way. If they directly ask you to complete the reaction, you can directly write this product. Okay, then here CH2, then oxygen here. Okay, in the presence of water, H2O and zinc. It breaks down, zinc. Okay, break them down here. You should break it here. Okay, so this will come with double bond oxygen. This will come with double bond. Yeah, understood now? Did everyone understand how to do ozonolysis and how to write the product? Okay, name of this compound, this alkene, you see, what's the name of this compound now? 1, 2, 3. You can take 3 on any side. That side also you can take. But 1 will come as a branch. Okay, so 1 is a branch here. This I will consider as a branch. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So it is second position you are having methyl. So it's 2-methyl. It's 2-methyl. Then propene. Okay, this is the reactant which we took initially. Yes, 2-methyl propane. Good, correct.